Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose. It is great to see you here this morning, whether you're here in person or whether you're watching on the live stream or whether you're watching later on. Thank you so much for joining us at this Kindness Cathedral. I'm going to turn the word over to Lonnie, our board president now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I think I see some new faces, so if this is the first time to our center, welcome and enjoy. We've got a really special morning for you, like always, but I think Margaret's going to spice it up, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think she's out there spicing it up anyway.
She's spicing up back there, yeah.
And our beautiful interview, and Joan on pulpit, and is Hugh doing a reading?
Hugh's doing a reading, yeah.
You guys, I don't know how it gets any better than this, so settle in and have some fun this morning.
Thank you, Lonnie. Now we're going to hear from, wait, is that Bill? Bill Hadris? I don't exactly recognize him, but I think it's Bill Hadris, one of our youth and family folks. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bill Hadris with Youth and Family.
Oh, good.
And I'd like to invite all the children to come on down and sit here with us. Have a seat, get comfortable. Miss Barbie, come on down too.
Hey, you guys.
All right. So who's noticed lately that things just keep changing?
Hello.
Anybody notice that? You know, that's the funny thing about moments. They're gone in an instant. So I'd like you to think for a moment for me. Take a breath, maybe close your eyes if you'd like. And can you think of a not so good time that turned out to be pretty good? You know, there really is no good or bad. There is just our perception. And often, our perception is an optical illusion. And it's not really the truth. So, how can we perceive the truth in each moment? Well, one way is to feel whatever that comes up and have gratitude for it. So with that, I invite you to be grateful for those around you, those you love, and those that love you, and show it. Be grateful for everything around you. The sun, maybe the shade, the earth, each bite you take when you eat. Be grateful for the lessons, both fun and the difficult ones. And be grateful for change. It can bring new adventures. And fighting change can be pretty frustrating. So, in Children's Church, we've been working on some gratitude garland. And the children got it. They can hold it up for you. You guys hold it up so everybody can see?
Yay.
Cool. We have some. So we're writing down some things we're grateful for, and we're making a garland, and we're going to hang it on the tree.
All right.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So with that, I invite you to repeat after me. I embrace and enjoy change.
I embrace and enjoy change.
And I am grateful.
And I am grateful.
And so it is.
And so it is. And so it is, and so we allow it to be as we rest in the words that were brought to us so beautifully by Joan, our practitioner. And let us breathe deeply and go deeper into our hearts and into our souls, into our bodies, softening the grip on reality that we have with our minds and just letting go and being here in this sacred vortex of spiritual energy, allowing ourselves to trust that God is here with us, because God is always here with us, but to trust that God makes its presence known as we become more attentive and more aware of the truth of spirit in all of existence, in all of nature. In this consciousness, let us listen to the words of our sacred reading.
The Sound of Wings by Reverend Bonnie Rose. A friend and I often greet each other with the Arabic words, Ishq Allah. Ishq is passionate love for God, crazy love for spirit in matter and matter in spirit. The Sufi madness that whirls and says, Ishq Allah mabud lillah. God is love, lover, and beloved. Sarah, our Vizsla dog, brought me Ishq today. We hiked a trail in the Ojai Mountains. Rounding a bend in the road, Sarah froze on a perfect point. Reality stopped as she leaned forward, her front leg bent, her stubby tail extended. It was dog yoga. Downward pointing God as she claimed union with her ordained intuition. I held my breath. The earth held its breath. Then Sarah heard a sacred starting gun, discernible only in dogland. She barreled into the underbrush. 20 gray quail hurled themselves out of the bushes, no chirping, only the sound of insistent wings saying, I am. I breathed the sound of wings and said, so am I, beloved quail. I am. Sarah barked at the quail, then sassed back down the road to share the blessing. You are the beloved too, sweet girl, I said. Together we continued our Ishq-intoxicated hike. What did I do to deserve the microcosm of audacious grace? Who created a dog that points so clearly and so dearly? What offers a flock of quail the adventure of a shared getaway? How do air, feathers, and flight conspire to break one's heart into beauty with sounds only love can hear? Who submits us to this drunken recklessness? Ishq Allah, love, lover, and beloved. What a privilege it is to listen to the three in one. No definitions, no reasoning required. Simply hearing wonder in the wordless wings. Love, lover, and beloved sing to us constantly. But will we listen? Will we hear? With my beloved's help, I'll try and do better. I'll start with the high school band that rehearses every day, inches from my house. I'll fall in love with their raucous On Wisconsin. I'll celebrate the disco version of Beethoven's Für Elise. I'll dance to the drumline. Love will transform out-of-tune band music to the sound of teenagers pointing their clarinets and saxophones at the intangible grace of music. And I'll ask, did love change noise into music, or did love change me? Yes. Maybe with practice, we can learn that everything changes everything. Everything points to everything. Everything is love, lover, and beloved. Arguments, laughter, discord, and delight. It's all Ishq Allah mabud lillah. Intoxicated rapture, calling us home to the beloved, where we belong.
Okay, let's sing now. Oh, I did not know that was going to be read. Well, I knew it was going to be read beautifully. I didn't know it would make me cry so hard. Anyway, moving into that place of ishq. divine rapture, intoxicated grace, beauty, love. That's certainly spoken of in the words that I wrote, but also all of the details of all of our lives. It doesn't matter if you don't have a Vishla. It doesn't matter if you don't live inches away from a high school that practices loud band music. Everything in all of our lives is that divine presence that is seeking expression and seeking to be noticed. It is nature itself expressing through all of the details, everything in our lives. The things we name good, the things we name not good. It is the I am presence that is, and that is all of us. So as we sing together, I am remembering who I am, let's remember this and let's feel it in our bodies, let's feel it in our hearts. Because as we remember for ourselves, and we feel it in our own bodies, we also feel this I am presence for the soul of the world. We allow it to enlarge us and to enliven us and to enlighten us into the nature of being, into the nature of the grace that infuses everything. And together we sing, I am remembering. Together we remember the soul of the divine, expressing through us as us individually and collectively in this sacred circle. May we keep that remembrance and allow it to inform this time together as we gently open our eyes in love and in service to what is, as it is, and so it is.
Now is the time when we gather together to share in the glory, regardless the weather, be it blustery and cold or sunny and pleasant. We're here in this moment, and that is the present. The season of love is year-round. It doesn't take sleigh bells or snow on the ground, just an open heart, letting your goodwill abound. The season of love is year-round. Giving of yourself is the best gift of all, regardless the hour or the date on the wall, for the light is returning and fanning the ember of the heart that's forgotten and longs to remember. The season of love is year-round. It doesn't take sleigh bells or snow on the ground, just an open heart, letting your goodwill abound. The season of love is year-round. Ring out the bells, ding dong ding. The song in my heart, sing song sing. Tell of the blessings that flow all around you. Proclaim your good, and it's bound to surround you. The season of love is year-round. It doesn't take sleigh bells or snow on the ground, just an open heart, letting your goodwill abound. The season of love, love is year-round.
Thank you, Margaret and band, Chris Kimbler and the cat. You may have noticed that we don't have our vision statement up there anymore. Be love, share love, a center of love, be love, share love, serve love. We've decided to stop doing that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We took it down for aesthetic reasons because of the Christmas tree and the Christmas program that's coming up, which you'll hear more about later on. But while we're here this morning, Brian, can you put up the picture of Carrie and the horses? I want to step aside for a minute and just show you who we're interviewing today. This lady here, who's lying in front of a pack of horses. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yeah. So that's Carrie Lake, and her talk is, her interview with me is called Nature Includes You. Before I call her up here, I want to say just a few words about her, and I wrote it down so I don't get too carried away. Okay. So I've known Carrie for probably a little over a year now. I met her over the summer during the pandemic in a Zoom call, and we became friends, and she came to my house and visited and met all of the animals, and we found out that we have a lot in common. I've also read a lot of her material. She's got several books, and she has a website, and she's doing a class with Service Space, which is an organization that many of us are familiar with. It's a global service organization. And one of the things that I've noticed in reading some of Carrie's material is this idea that, that humans sometimes feel like we're the center of the universe. And in a way, we're the center of our universe, but we're not really the center of the entire universe. Really, we're part of a system that seems complex. We're part of a grand, vast scheme and system that seems complex, but it's actually really quite simple. And then part of Carrie's work is to illuminate people and to illuminate and amplify the profound ways that the natural world can participate with us, and we participate with it, to open our hearts to a greater reality. In terms of this spiritual center, I thought it was so profound because one of the things that we're looking at in terms of when we are kind of reinventing and restructuring our life, are we post-pandemic? Probably not quite yet, but in our life within the context of the pandemic, there's this phrase that we've talked about a lot here, which is that we bring the kingdom into the garden. The kingdom being the consciousness of oneness, the consciousness of that we all belong. That's a common phrase used by mystics to elaborate that idea of oneness and wholeness and belonging. And the garden refers to the planet Earth, or really all of nature. That one of my mentors was Joni Mitchell, and she says that we have to get ourselves back to the garden, and I think she meant that we have to bring the kingdom into the garden. So to me, that's some of what Carrie's work does, and she offers really beautiful tools to help us do that. The purpose of doing this is, of course, to have greater and more grounded and more connected lives for ourselves, but also to recognize that in all of life, this is essential, particularly now when it seems like there's a lot of upheaval and a lot of discord in the world, that this consciousness of connecting with nature and understanding that nature includes us, that this is not only important for us as individuals, but important for all of us as a society, as a human family, as a global family, which includes everything, the animals, the inanimate, all of those things. So we learn from the wisdom of nature to help us affect positive changes in our lives, but also in the life of the planet. So without any further words from me, I'd love to invite Carrie up to the stage, and we'll take it from there. So come on up, my friend. Hi, good to see you. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Carrie, before we get into what we kind of planned we were going to say,
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, what are you doing with those horses there?
Oh, resting.
Resting? Uh-huh.
Really, truly resting with my friends,
Yes.
honestly. This picture was during a 3.5-day class down in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And of course, Mexico's a different culture, different language, so it was pretty intense for me to be able to speak some very broad awareness and wisdom to
Yes.
people who understand, organize thoughts differently.
Right.
So these were moments where I got to go outside and simply become one with the herd, which takes no thought. It takes no effort. It is the opposite of effort. So in these moments, it was total receiving.
Yes.
Simultaneously sharing my being with these dear ones whose consciousness was assisting me to speak to all of the people as well.
That's wonderful.
So it's a team effort.
A team effort,
It
for
is
sure.
always a team effort.
Yeah.
Regardless, you can be in a on the 36th floor of a building
Yeah.
and just bring your awareness to how much you love your pug, and your pug is there with you,
It changes
assisting.
everything, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That picture for me triggered the awareness of my dogs, and that they often look at me like this.
Yes.
And let me just show you, and then we'll get on to you. This is sort of about my dog this morning, but I want to show you in the congregation how my dogs watch television with me, okay?
Yes.
So you be me, and you look out there like you're watching television.
Okay.
And then this is Bartok.
Because they know what's good, right?
It's so dear. I know. It's just so endearing. I just love it when they do that.
All of that good juju that
Yeah.
you're like, you think you're giving to the TV. He's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have some of that.
Yeah, exactly. that loving attention, right? Or maybe he wants to prevent me from watching some of the more
yeah,
questionable shows that I watch.
Might be a buffer. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, stay where your
Yeah,
body
that's
is.
right.
It's all going to
Yeah.
be okay.
Right. It's not all about, serial killers.
Unless it's Downton
Yeah.
Abbey, when,
Yeah.
what are you going to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you get to be where you are now? Like, who are you, and what happened to you that you have this wild job as a
Thanks
whatever
for
you
the
are?
framing, Bonnie.
Yeah, sure.
So what gets me out of bed every day is this longing to know the experience of the truth of love. Show me what's true. Show me what's really true. I have very early awareness of self from infancy, where literally my first memory is watching an infant's hand come into my field of vision and going, okay, I know what that is. I'm back. Yes, we did it. I know exactly what to do this time. So I have this very deep sense of knowing, like, I'm here for what love is. And the journey has taken me through, being a child with that sense of self, and then hitting this repeated brick wall of society and what's expected, and what a female child is supposed to be, what a smart child is supposed to be, and the performances were expected to find normal. And yet the whole time, the bees, and when I was stressed out, I would go lie down in the grass and listen to the music of the grasses and the clover flowers, the insects buzzing, because all of that made sense. I could feel it. And I love what Bill said earlier, that how do we know the truth? We feel it. So what brought me to where I am now is, even through high school and college and a difficult marriage and all these things that we go through, I was never willing to compromise that longing for what the truth feels like. And I just keep stumbling forward, saying, no, this is not truth. I know what truth feels like, so take me there or get me out of here. And it was literally one or the other. I didn't care if I stayed or if I left my body. I'm here for the experience of the truth of love.
Here for the experience of the truth of love.
Yes.
Yeah. Sounds very much like Ishkala, right?
Ishkala, yes.
Ishkala, love
Yes.
is God is love, lover, and beloved. Yeah.
It is. And that, how do we know that? I mean, we can talk about it. We're humans, we have this overabundance of intellectual ability. And we can talk, we can use words, we can say the word nature, and we can think we're talking about the forest or the ocean or the animals. But my question always comes down to, how does it feel to be you when you engage with the forest, when you go to the forest, when you do touch your dog, when Barty is right in front of you and you can't avoid his love, right? What does that feel like?
Yeah.
So regardless of the words we use, what is the sense? What does the communication feel like when we say nature? Because that is the nonlinear, nonverbal communication that is common to all of life, regardless of an overabundance of intellect.
So there's a nonlinear, nonverbal communication that's part of all of life, and we are part of it, and it is part of us.
We are part of it.
Yeah.
It is part of us, yes.
Yeah.
It is we could call it, if we want to go, the physics direction, we can call it the unified field that connects everything. You are the field. Hugh is the field. I am the field. You are all the field. And as humans, when you spoke of the complicatedness and the simplicity.
Yes.
When we use our profound intellectual ability to contemplate what's the experience of simple. What does simple feel like moving through my body? What is the simplicity that connects us all? You can start to actually watch your own body feel more spacious and open into that experience. And if you, even for a moment, suspend that knee jerk to understand it, to label it, to talk about it, to prove it to anybody else, before understanding, there is a presence. And it is that presence that connects us with everything that we would assume is outside of us and call it nature.
Yeah. Before understanding, there is a presence. Yes, that is. How many people here are really quick to rush to grab at understanding, so you know what to do, right? Seems. Yeah. Oh, Lonnie's showing her pinky. Yeah. Sometimes we do for those of you who are new. If we don't want to admit something, sometimes we do a show of pinkies instead of a show of hands. This connecting to something before understanding. And as I recall, when we spoke on the phone, we were talking about how many of life's problems, if not all of life's problems, come through a disconnect with nature, a disconnect with perhaps what you're calling today that place of being prior to understanding. You want to say something about the disconnect a little bit? And maybe how to reconnect?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I might talk for 2 days about that.
That's your favorite thing. Well, we don't got 2 days, but
Okay. I'll do my best.
Okay.
You can give me the shepherd's
hook.
if you
Yeah.
need.
Okay.
The disconnect. So the truth is none of us is actually disconnected. If you were truly disconnected, your body would not be animated. So we get to ask this question, so what is it that actually animates me? And what does that feel like before I try to understand it, before I try to label it or describe it? And when we do perceive the disconnect, it's because we are going sort of by a default into that brilliant intellect, that overabundance of intellect that only our species is endowed with. That's like Greg Braden. You know who Greg Braden is? Yeah. He talks about the difference between humanity and the rest of life as that humanity is really the only species endowed with an overabundance of anything. Nature doesn't really give more than what's necessary for the flourishment of every individual and every species or group or family or herd, right? So the disconnect comes when we start with our intellect, identifying with the intellect that has been identified with everything that we think is required, that we can do. We can't deny that we have this life that humanity has created, and it's wonderful, it's comfortable, don't get me wrong. I like 5-star restaurants and things like that. But the brilliance and the divinity comes when we begin to see it for what it is without judging it. When I can look out at the world that I actually enjoy, when I can allow myself to enjoy the world that I enjoy, and look at it and say, you know what, that was created with the abundance of human intellect, and I am happening before any of that was built. I am part of the life that supports the environment, that lets the enjoyment happen from this structure, that creation, from everything that we do together as humans. The way that I have been shown by the ponies, horses and I are like this, and they're the ones that have basically taught me everything. But when I've watched horses recover from a trauma, recover from a stress, they didn't go into their head and try to reason with themselves and use psychological tactics, What horses do is move their bodies. They feel what their body feels like. They shake if they need to. They roll if they need to. But their awareness goes to their physicality, because their physicality is how they relate to their outside world. And as I grew in my awareness, and since age 11, I've been asking horses very directly, show me how you do it, you know? People are bad to you, and they dominate you, and they subjugate you, and they enslave you, and they don't see your beauty, and yet you keep giving. You keep giving and giving and giving and giving. How do you do it? I wanted to be a human with humans the way horses are with humans. So I kept asking, and over many years, the wisdom distilled itself into the absence of judgment. And when a horse connects with their body and just says, here's how it feels to be me, I need to roll right now, and they roll, you know, that's just being honest. They're not judging that what happened is bad. They're simply saying, oh, I could really use a roll right now.
I could use a roll.
A roll.
But a different kind of roll.
A different kind of roll.
Yeah.
I mean, like rolling in the
Yeah,
dirt.
gotcha,
I don't even know what else that would be. I'm
well,
so
like a roll, like to eat. You know, like a bagel.
Well, that would be all right,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That works, too. A little cinnamon.
Yeah,
that'd be all right.
Yeah, okay.
So as the wisdom started coming through me, because I kept asking, give me a way to assist humanity. And because not everybody can feel the animals the way that I do, I discovered. It seemed obvious to me because I can feel everyone. And it seemed obvious to me everybody else could feel everyone too, which is not the case, I learned. So how can I assist people? What does it take to bring people's brilliant intellect into a place where their intuitive, innate wisdom, the intuitive intellect, has a greater seat at the table? And there's a very simple way. I can walk you through it.
Yes,
it just
I'd love
takes
to.
10 seconds.
I'd love to do it. Let
Okay.
me stop you for one
Yeah.
sec, just to kind of anchor this in some of the things that we talk about here.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we talk about is this principle of identification, and it sounds to me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm often wrong, but I won't take it personally. I won't judge you for it.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I'll just roll. Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Or if it gets too stressful, we'll just have
we'll
a
both
roll on the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
But one of the things we talk about is, Joel Goldsmith is a metaphysical teacher who is a contemporary of Ernest Holmes, our founder, and he talked a lot about the principle of identification. I believe that many other spiritual teachers talk about that too. And it sounds to me, Carrie, that what you're saying is that through probably no fault of our own, just through sort of getting swept up in the business of being human, we over-identify with this intellectual structure that we carry with us always. We over-identify it at the expense of identification with this underlying beautiful current of life or love or grace or gratitude, something that is beyond names, some type of current that actually connects us rather than separates us. Did I get that right?
Oh, it sounds lovely. Yes,
Okay,
I'm
good.
with you the whole way.
Good. Okay, great.
I will only keep fanning that flame.
Okay, good. Keep
Yeah.
fanning me. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
so now, but before I stopped you, you said that you were going to walk us through a process that helps us do what?
That helps organize your intellect.
Okay.
Because often, okay, you correct me if I feel off here.
Okay.
But the mind is often like a 3-year-old, right? Who just wants to help.
Oh no, you're not off at all.
Okay.
At least in my case. I don't know. Anybody? Yeah.
And so,
Right.
you know, if say you're making pancakes, right?
Right.
And it really helps to let your 3-year-old know, you know what, the eggs and the flour and the milk and the sugar and the vanilla, they go in the bowl. And if you don't really tell the 3-year-old that everything's supposed to be in the bowl, you're going to end up with batter all over the walls because they're going to make it up for themselves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what we can do is, with friendship, with kindness to the mind, we can say, hey, buddy, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for all your thoughts and your brilliance. But right now, you got one job, and that job is watch the body. And so truly, it's a tool that has been given to me called Mind Watch the Body that is very simple. It's acknowledging that your mind is brilliant. You get to be right about everything, but for 10 seconds, let's bring the awareness right to where the physicality is. Okay.
You want to do that for us?
Let's do that.
Okay.
And so it is as simple. And here's a fun way to play with it. We can all be in kindergarten for a second. Recommend kindergarten. Like, this is kindergarten right there, okay? And so if you don't look down at your hands, and all of you guys can play along with us if you like. If you don't look down at your hands, how do you know if they're touching something?
Just feeling,
Exactly.
feeling, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have some words for feel, like pressure,
Uh-huh.
temperature,
Mhm.
right? Because is the temperature where your hands touch the same or different
No,
from the
it's-
outside?
It's a little hotter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have pressure, we have temperature, and then when your skin's touching, is that like sandpaper? Is it like wood?
It's actually none of the above.
Excellent,
It's
yes.
it just feels kind of squishy and a little moist
Brilliant.
where they're touching, but
Exactly.
not on the top. It's a little moist where they're touching.
Beautiful. So mind, thank you so much for finding the body.
Thank you, mind.
Yeah, exactly. So right there, let your mind travel right to where your hands are communicating sensation.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to tune anything else out, but for 10 seconds, and I'll count, you don't even have to count.
Okay.
For 10 seconds, just prioritize the sensation, and we'll see what life feels like after that 10 seconds of very, very simple. Mind, watch the body, right where the hands say, oh yeah, I'm touching something.
Are we counting?
Yeah, I'm counting. Well, I'll
Okay.
start over.
Okay.
And very, very simple. Don't work at it, because the hands are happy to tell you. 3 more seconds. Perfect. So now, without necessarily abandoning that, what, if anything, do you notice? What, if anything, is different from 12 seconds ago?
I would say a deeper feeling of gratitude. It's like my hands communicated with my heart.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
my hands getting all emotional. My hands informed my heart of how beautiful it is to be alive and how grateful I am to have hands. And if I were going to go further, this might pop it up into the head, but then I could think about all the things that I get to do with my hands
Mhm.
and how much fun it is,
Beautiful.
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't only have hands, I have feet.
We have feet.
And
We
I have
have
a nose,
knees.
and I have a
Yes.
knee.
Absolutely.
knees.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And in those 10 seconds, how much did you feel like judging anybody?
Oh, I didn't feel like judging anybody. I felt I didn't have any. There was nobody to judge. Just the pleasure of having my hands. It's it's why I picked that reading, the Ishkala reading. It was totally Ishkala, that my hands are love, lover, and beloved. Right
Yes.
then. I don't need to define it. Don't need to say anything more about it. It's just they're just there, and they are fantastic.
I love it. Here's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
The presence we talk about, the presence of the divine,
Yeah.
the presence of truth, the presence of self, big self. We can experience it because we have a physicality. This is our instrument. And often the mind will say, well, I can't find my body. I'm afraid to be in my body. A lot of people have a hard time. They feel unsafe in their body.
Yeah.
But when we can help the mind have these little gentle experiences of actually, when even just 10 seconds, after 10 seconds, you can go back to judging everything if you want to. But in this 10 seconds, it's a friendly invitation for the mind to actually rediscover what the body is. And the body communicates, well, here I am, through sensation. And that's as simple as touch. But once our mind is organized to value, to recognize and value that little bit of information as actually, valuable information, we prioritize it. That's when we make ourselves available to the greater experience of that less tangible thing called presence.
Right.
Or divinity,
Right.
or movement. And you know presence because you feel it. You know truth because you feel it. And this mind watch the body that I learned from being with animals so much, what it does is help organize your awareness so that you're available to the experience of presence. And I tell people all the time, like, don't save this for really critical moments. Play with it in non-critical moments, like standing in line at the DMV is perfect. I'm standing in line and I can't really control anything, so mind, watch the body, bringing my awareness really simply to the hands to say, hands, what do you got going on right now? Knees, what do you got going on? Oh, fantastic. Where am I? Oh, there's my shoulder. You guys are tight right now. Okay. But when you play with it more and you watch, you bring your awareness to the muscles, Watch them say thank you. Oh, you're here. Mind watch the body sets you up for the experience of actually occupying your physicality, which is the point of being this divine being. We didn't come here to avoid our bodies. We came here to occupy our bodies with the highest level of divinity that we can be available to in any moment. And you know, it's not a contest. I'm not trying to be like more divine than Bonnie. It's like, I don't think that's possible. But
it is. Thank you for that. But it's.
But the truth of it is when each of us plays and really play, like this is kindergarten simple. Where's my body? There it is. It feels awesome. Or sometimes it feels yucky. But when I let it feel how it feels and I don't judge it, I divinitize it. And the body can, in that very moment, begin restructuring. It can change its chemistry. It can change its movement. And when I engage this amazing intellect with kindness and the absence of judgment, then the intellect starts finding for itself the value in this whole heart thing. Mm-hmm. In the feeling of expansiveness, even when I'm in an outer situation that seems to be applying pressures otherwise. I make myself available to recognize the pressure as something constructed by a system other than me, other than divinity, other than this nature that when we make ourselves available to it, we make ourselves available to feel that same nature in one another. And when I make myself available to that, I amplify that field for all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge part of the teaching here, is that if we do it for one, we do it for everybody. As you do anything, you do everything. Love your neighbor as you love yourself is literally as you love yourself, you are loving your neighbor at the same time.
It's
right?
so completely
right.
true. Yes.
And so honoring the body is honoring the body for the body of the cosmos, right?
It absolutely honors my capacity to acknowledge the truth of it. Mm-hmm. I know the truth because I feel it. I don't have to be seeking some aspect of divinity as if I haven't yet achieved it.
Right.
I can simply mind watch the body 10 seconds at a time and just watch what's different after that 10 seconds from before. And those little 10 seconds, they add up, not in a linear, not 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 + 1 is 11. Because it's so innate. It's so innate to be aware of the expression of your own presence through your cells.
Yeah.
And so, of course, there's a million ways we can complicate talking about that. And it's, there's a million ways, for thousands of years it's been taught through meditation and through yogas and through mindfulness. But a lot of, what I have found is people can go into their intellect and fancify lots of things, but then you put them in, you send them home to the family for Christmas and everything clamps back up again. And so how can we empower ourselves to have access to be self-empowered in any moment, to go, okay, wait a minute, I can feel myself getting tense and leaving the room. Mind, watch the body. And it creates this beautiful friendship between the mind, the body, and the heart.
Mind watch the body.
Mind watch the body.
So that sounds like the
heart center open.
One of the things that's a take home, right? Is mind watch the body, and can we also take home with ourselves that this really does make a difference? That's one of the challenges that I face in leading this church all the time, is my own sense of identification that it has to be big and it has to be complicated in order for it to be meaningful. And I've had so many spiritual teachers tell me that that's not true, and I tell myself that it's not true, and I keep going back to that place because the whole human race consciousness is going to that place of no, it has to be bigger, it has to be better, bigger is better, complicated is much better than simple. But what if we were just for 10 seconds to believe that it can be as simple as this? It can be as simple as mind watch the body and relaxing and trusting and knowing that our capacity to have the mind watch the body, to sense the temperature in our hands, to see what our hands have to teach us, to see what our toes need to teach us, to see whatever our smile, our yawn, our frown, whatever it is, whatever we're feeling, to recognize that in other people. What if that really is What if that really is the capacity to bring forth great healing and great transformation on this planet, no matter what's going on the outside? You know, Carrie and I were talking on the phone the other day, getting ready for this interview, and we were talking about volcanoes, and I was talking about a lot of gross, disgusting nursing symptoms that are similar to volcanoes, and that it's all part of something. It's all part of something bigger. It's all just part of what you would call nature. I would call it nature, but I'd also call it God. You know, this stuff that we teach about how there is only God, there's only one life. That life is God's life. And the poem that I quote frequently that says, nothing exists outside the walls of this place called existence, that means everything is part of existence. And because everything is part of existence, everything is part of that which, the source of existence, which is God. You know, when I spoke with Carrie, we said that nature is like God. If it could be, I mean, we could call nature God. And then we were saying the source of nature is nature. The source of God is God. God and nature are one. God and creation are one. Spirit and matter are one. Void and form are one. Spirit and flesh are one. Go ahead.
And I love the topic is nature includes you,
Yes.
and I would actually flip that coin and say nature has never excluded you.
Right.
And we can feel that.
Yeah.
So the trick, because we have, you know, this amazing intellect, is to make ourselves accessible to my own self-validation of what that feels like. What does it feel like? How do I know? You know, and like, please don't take my word for it. Try it out yourself and empower yourself to even be available for a moment, like, if that were true, what would that feel like? And ask the question and then just go wash dishes or something. You know, don't make it any sort of a big thing. But because you've asked the question, you've made yourself available. And that, I think, is the beauty of God, the beauty of divinity. Ask, and it will always be given.
Yes.
And so when often these intangible questions we ask, we're sitting up here waiting for, you know, a computer printout of the answer.
The hairy arm with the Post-it, that's what I call it.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
So what if instead when we ask a question, we go, oh, show me show me the truth of this, and then, all right, mind. Find the body, because that's where the information comes, even before it turns into a thought. I will feel it before I even think it. And so when we have that friendship between the mind and the body, the heart opens and we become accessible to our own divinity.
Yeah.
And in that accessibility, we share our presence, we share ourselves with others. And me sharing myself can only amplify the truth and the beauty of you.
Yeah.
This is what animals have taught me.
You know, and I have to say that I think that this message is essential, meaning that it's of the essence, but also that it's essential in terms of necessary, in that in many teachings, you know, I think about Christianity where for a long time people discounted the body, you know. Not all Christians, but in some of the more rigid, I don't know, I hate to put labels on it, but just discounted the body as a source of spirituality, that it was, I think I've talked about mortifying the flesh in here, you know. I'm doing a little whip action here, but mortifying the flesh, that people think that the flesh is bad. Or, you know, even in metaphysical teachings, it's, you know, this denomination was called Science of Mind. And I know later on Ernest Holmes wished that it was called Science of Mind and Spirit, that he had called it that. But what if it's science of mind, heart, and body? Head, heart, and hands. You know, what if it's all of those things? I think it really is. We just don't call it that. But it's up to us, listening to Carrie's words of wisdom and being divinely ordained to be here together this morning to bring that into our consciousness, if we choose. Again, we don't have to, but if we choose, just imagine the good that it can do in our lives, and not only in our lives, but in the lives of everyone, just to be willing to honor the body. You know, honor the body and keep it holy.
I love that.
Yeah.
The science of wholeness.
The science of wholeness.
I am healthy, whole, and complete. Now show me what that feels like.
Yeah.
I want to know what that feels like walking around, and
Yeah.
maybe I get distracted. Okay, mind, watch the body. This is
Yeah.
where we're going to find it.
And I am healthy, whole, and complete also transcends any conditions. Like you can have a disease and still be healthy, whole, and complete.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. you know what? I didn't hardly ask any of my questions, but I'm glad we talked, and it's about time we're done.
Thank you.
It's been such an honor to
For
speak
me.
with you.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have something to share. So
Thank you.
Thank you
so
for the
much.
opportunity.
And Carrie will be in the social hall afterwards if you want to speak with her further, if that's okay with you. And let's just give her some love, and then I'll pray. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Aw.
Thanks so much. Okay. So we'll just turn within and just do a short prayer, because we went just a tad over because I just couldn't control myself. I was so interested in what Carrie was saying. And so we're going to just anchor into that beauty, into that love, into that place and that spaciousness that is the life of God, that is nature, and that is all of us. And we just move into that place. And in that place, since it's been the topic for today, why don't we just feel our bodies, just feel what our bodies are doing, what they're saying to us. Just take a moment to breathe and feel what that feels like. And just allowing the body, the blessing of the body to be. How wonderful it is to know that today we have spoken words of truth, and that we have anchored in them, and that we have learned them on behalf of all beings everywhere. I'm so grateful for this time together, for the lives that have been transformed here in this sanctuary, here in the extensions of our own individual lives, but also the life of the planet. And together we bless this teaching, we bless the transformation, we bless all paths to God. Churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams, fundamentalists, atheists, all blessings, all beings. And with a heart that is so filled with gratitude, we say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, love. And we release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste. Hey, Lonnie. Hi.
Hi, Bonnie.
Yes.
Sorry, my mask is acting up.
They do that.
I know. Anyway, so in November, I talked about the month of gratitude. And listening this morning, I think December is the month of gifts. Just the promise and the hope and the joy that we experience. When Bill talked about change, I know that we've been in a lot of change, and that hasn't always felt comfortable. And yet in talking or listening to your talk with Carrie is that we have that ability to reorganize our thoughts and to bring them back to the heart and the hands. And so this morning, in the offering, I just invite you to place your hands over your heart and know that goodness avails. And repeat after me. We trust in spirit.
We trust in spirit.
Love is a giver and receiver of all that we are.
Love is the giver and receiver of all that we are.
We offer this gift.
We offer this gift.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
It is an outer expression of our inner abundance and compassion.
Our gifts bless many.
Our gifts bless many.
And return to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
And return to us multiplied in miraculous ways.
So that we may give again.
So that we may give again.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Lonnie.
Let me be the hand to guide you. I'm the gentle voice inside you, not the one that hounds or blames you, not the one that haunts and shames you. You are part of the grand design. You are blessed and you are mine, and you deserve to feel safe. And you deserve to feel loved, and I do love you so. So go on and spread your wings and go and be who you've come here to be, and dream what you dare not to dream, and then shine, shine, shine like you're mine, 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 children of love. That you forgot your worth, for you two were a holy birth. I don't need wise men to name it, all the angels to proclaim it. You are part of the grand design. You are blessed and you are mine, and you deserve to feel safe, and you deserve to feel loved, and I do love you so. So go on and spread your wings and go and be who you've come here to be, and dream what you dare not to dream, and then shine, shine, shine like you're mine, 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 children of love. Listen to what beckons to you. Miracles can happen through you. All these things and even greater when you're one with your Creator, and you deserve to feel safe, and you deserve to feel loved, and I do love you so. So go on and spread your wings and go and be who you've come here to be, and dream what you dare not to dream, and then shine, shine, shine like you're mine, 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 children of love, children of love.
And then outreach, we're still doing outreach for Family to Family, which is serving lunch to our homeless brothers and sisters on the first Monday of the month. Lift up your voice. We're rehoming people, and we're asking for donations of pots, pans, silverware, and also working bicycles. Choir rehearsal for Hearts in Harmony happening after the service downstairs in Martha's Hall. If you want to join the choir, you are welcome to join the choir. No auditions are required. And then after service options, we've got prayer with a practitioner in the front of the sanctuary. You can go in the social hall, get some delicious refreshments. There's some free books and puzzles that we recycle. You can also shop in the bookstore. There's coffee, there's tea, all kinds of good stuff, all kinds of great community. I want to thank you all for joining us today. It's so special to see each of you here and just to be navigating this interesting time together, and how wonderful it is that we can learn new tools from collective wisdom from all of us. So I'm just very, very grateful for your dedication and your loyalty, not only to the church, but to your own well-being, to the well-being of the planet, and to spiritual principle. Thank you so much for being here, and let us pray. Return within and recognize the spiritual truth, and anchor in the intentions of this center. When we ask, Divine Beloved, inspire us to become a mystical center of non-duality, where we allow the love of God to work through us always, and to take action on the call of kindness to serve the greater good for all beings. Together, we live to bring the kingdom into the garden as we surrender into boundless grace. Divine Beloved, we are yours, you are ours, all is well. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.